it's a little seed starting unit, and all you do, you can see what you're sowing. It calibrates so you can change the opening, and what's great about this is you don't waste seed. It doesn't all come out like from a seed packet at one time. You can really get your spacing right. It's a great little tool to have, indoors or outdoors. So,
is there a rule of thumb of how deep you plant certain seeds?
Not a rule of thumb. Almost all seeds usually are just planted about a 1/4 inch deep. Some larger seeds like corn or nasturtium or moonflower are a little deeper, maybe an inch or so.
So once the seed is planted, how do you just put it into a sunny window? We've got about 2 minutes left, and I wanted to get to what kind of lighting needs do they have, and how about the watering too?
Well, the key thing is light is critical. Once they start to germinate, they have to have at least 16 hours of good light. If your sunny window doesn't have enough light, you need to augment it with some fluorescent lighting.
Because 16 hours, that's quite a lot.
It's quite a lot. If you want really good seedlings, you need at least 14 to 16. 16 is optimum.
Okay.
But a sunny window can supply it sometimes if you're starting it later in the season. But usually you have to add some light. So all we have here, it's a grow light system, and it's just 2 fluorescent bulbs.
Are these regular fluorescent bulbs? They have more of like a full spectrum.
Well, these are just regular. The full spectrum are great. They're a little more expensive, but all you really need for seed starting are 2 cool bulbs or a cool and a warm. Will do the trick for you. But make sure the light is very close to the seedlings. You just want the light about 1 inch or 2 right above the seedlings. Otherwise, they'll get kind of leggy and scrawny looking because light is key. Watering is key. This, I would recommend using a bulb sprayer or something very light with a very fine mist to water them. It's really key. They need to be watered all the time. They should never be allowed to dry out.
So always very moist, but never get them soaking wet then.
Right, not soggy or waterlogged, but always evenly moist.
Okay. So there you have it. If you start your own seeds indoors, then you will be able to take them out around May 15th and transplant them outside. And when you're doing that transplanting really quickly, any quick tips on do you have to handle the plants in a special way to get them into the ground then?
Yes, you want to handle the roots very gently so you don't damage the plant, and also kind of pull the roots out a little bit to get them started growing in new directions, and just have your soil prepared very well turned over, kind of slightly moist.
So it won't be such a big shock from the protected environment to outside. Okay, well thanks for being with us, Maureen, and we hope you got some good ideas for starting your own seeds indoors here on the Gardener's Guide for Northeast Ohio.
The Gardener's Guide from Northeast Ohio. I'm Kent Geist from WVIZ PBS, here with Maureen Paschke from WCPN-FM. And it's great to have you. What a wonderful show this is, Maureen.
I need this show desperately.
And not only you, but everyone around Northeastern Ohio, even people who think they have green thumbs, realize they're doing things the wrong way at times.
And there's always new things that people at places like Cleveland Botanical Gardens find out about gardening, and the science of the whole thing is there's always something new.
We're going to have lots of segments coming up over the next nearly 4 hours, but what we want to remind you is of some of the very special thank you gifts that you'll have when you call in during this very special show. And we have a fabulous book, a priceless book, an invaluable book that will come to you for your $60 pledge. Here's what it looks like. It's called The Gardener's Guide to Northeastern Ohio, and let me tell you about it. The Cleveland Botanical Garden, over some 20 years, has done a newsletter, and in that newsletter they include articles, they include questions and answers, and they've never been compiled into one document before. But their way of saying thank you to those who become part of the WVIZ PBS family today was to put together, with our help, this incredible loose leaf binder that's just filled with questions and answers that are pertinent to Northeastern Ohio. There's Maureen looking through her book, and there's just all sorts of questions in there. Give us an example of one of the questions, Maureen. You're into the article area.
Yeah, actually, I mean, there's a bunch of articles in the back, and the one that I'm really anxious to get into here is what to do with deer.
Oh, and that's a problem.
Because we have so many deer in Northeast Ohio and so many new subdivisions with all of those wonderful bushes and plants and flowers. And there are about 6 pages here on what to do about deer, including a bibliography, so that there are articles and other books you can go to for even more detailed information. This is just a fabulous resource.
Creatures need to eat, just hopefully not your garden, is what it comes down to. This comes to you at the $60 level. Now, if you would consider a $90 gift to WVIZ PBS right now, we have the home video of the very program you're watching watching, when this program ends, we're going to put together all of the professional segments, all of the segments you'll see today, without Maureen and I, unfortunately. We won't be part of that program. It would be worth a lot more if we were, but for $90, we'll send you this incredible home video, again, unlike any video that's ever been produced here in Northeastern Ohio. You can have that as our way of saying thank you for the $90 gift. We have another $90 premium also, Maureen.
Yes, we do. We have the Cleveland Garden Handbook, which is actually a revised, updated, and expanded version of the original book. It's by Susan McClure and 17 other Cleveland garden experts. It's expert local advice on growing a beautiful lawn and garden in Northeast Ohio. And we already heard Jeremy and Julie talk about, and Maureen talk about, you know, when you start doing things in Northeast Ohio, when can you safely put things outside? Well, what's great about this is tailored specifically to Northeast Ohio.
Right, you get those other gardening books, and it says, look for your colored zone
I think
in the back of the book.
Zone 5 or something.
Yeah, it's wherever, somewhere near frigid is usually where you find us. But this one is tailored just to the Northeastern Ohio area. But we have a much better idea. Why not make a $180 gift to WVIZ PBS today? It's a great way of helping WVIZ PBS with its mission of providing more education, just like this program. And we'll send you everything we've talked about. We'll send you the Gardener's Guide to Northeastern Ohio question and answer and article book. We'll send you the Gardener's Guide to Northeastern Ohio home video on VHS, and we'll also send you the Cleveland Garden Handbook. So it's a great collection of items that will come your way as our way of saying thank you so much for getting to your telephone. It's going to be a very special day. You know, we just heard a moment ago that May 15th is about that date. You know, people here would usually say Memorial Day, which is just a few weeks later. But here our friends at Cleveland Botanical Garden are telling us, you know, you can probably go a couple weeks earlier than that. You just want to make sure that all that investment you make in your flowers don't get frozen away by that last frost of I was going to say spring, the late spring at that point. Get to your telephone right now and make sure that we can have your pledge here to continue programs like this. One other feature throughout this program is that we recently went out to visit our friends out at the Cleveland Home and Garden Show, and there were lots of folks out there that had all sorts of questions, and we're going to visit with a person right now that had a question for the show today.
Hi, my name is Bob Friend from North Olmsted, Ohio. My question is, when should you change your fluorescent tube grow lights?
Now, this is typical of the questions that you'll find in the book, and this question, along with the others, are there. You know, the fluorescent tubes, they seem like they're still doing their work, but they're not always, because the intensity of the light diminishes over time. Even though it's still emitting light, you need to make sure that it's still doing what it should be doing for the plants, and the best way to tell is when the end of the tube begins to darken, it's time to go out and change that tube. This is just typical of the kinds of questions that you're going to find hundreds of them in the book that we put together with our friends at Cleveland Botanical Garden.
This is a great book. I can't wait to get into this book myself. It has so many things. Which flowers can I grow to air dry, and how do I do that? You know, a lot of people like to do that, dry flowers, and that they grow in their own garden, so they sort of keep the life of those flowers in their house and keep the beauty of them. It tells how to do that. It tells, there's a whole section on monthly, what to do every month, what kinds of tips will help you grow your garden on a monthly basis, 12 months a year, what you need to do. This is a $60 pledge can get you this book that's put together from the articles and tips that have come over 20 years from the Cleveland Botanical Garden.
And you know, there's something very special inside the book. If you have that come into your home, you're going to find in one of just the first couple of pages, thanks to one of the people who helped us put the show together, Smith and Hawken, is offering a 20% discount. So you're going to have a coupon in here that you'll take into the store at the Eaton Collection on Chagrin Boulevard in Woodmere, and you'll have a 20% off any merchandise that you purchase that day at Smith and Hawken. So what a wonderful way to kind of start your garden off with all the tools and the things you need from that beautiful store. So that will come your way at 20% discount. The book will come your way at the $60 level. The home video at the $90 level. The Cleveland Garden Handbook is also a choice at the $90 level. You have your choice between two thank you gifts, but I hope that most folks watching in Northeastern Ohio will go all the way to that $180 gift to WVIZ PBS today and say, send it all to me. Send me the little loose leaf question and answer book with the articles in it. Also send me the Cleveland Garden Handbook, and you know, I would love to have this home video because we are bringing together today, Maureen, all of the experts. There are people from all over Northeastern Ohio that are going to be passing through the studio over these next 4 hours, and this is going to be an invaluable tape. You could never get all this information in one place other than here.
Well, and that's just it. And watching it over a 4-hour period, there's no way you're going to probably get all of that information and be able to take notes and write it all down and be able to use it all for your gardening this coming year. So be sure to get the videotape, because then you can stop it. You can say, what was that again? Let me look at how they did that.
Right.
You can take notes. You can have all kinds of information that's going to help you a lot. What I really like, Kent, is that $180 pledge for all of those items. Because if you think about that, what is that? The equivalent of $15 a month?
Yes, that's
and
all.
This information that you get from WVIZ every month of the year is certainly worth $15. So make your call. Go to those phones right now and be sure to get in on this. These have never been offered before.
Never before. They're brand new thank you gifts. We have a wonderful group of people sitting behind us from the Ford Motor Company. They've given up their day right now to take your pledges of support. There's a pledge being taken. Thank you very much. But there's still room for yours, because we won't be happy until everyone who's watching today has gone to the telephone and invested anything, $10, $15. Hopefully you'll make it $60, $90, or maybe $180. But just let WVIZ PBS know that this kind of information is the kind of information you want in your home. It's going to be a very, very special day. What we need you to do, though, is just make sure that we can produce and broadcast these kinds of programs in the future. Only here at WVIZ